Car dealerships are the biggest scammers. Those sales agents, they're scammers.
So you found a car, you like it, you call the dealership and they say, sorry, we can't negotiate on this one. They're lying to you, they can negotiate on it.
And if they keep going the way they are right now, they're going to be out of cash and out of business.
We only hope the dealerships go away. No, you don't. You think you do, but you don't. It'll only be worse for you.
We are back talking about these dealerships. They're still suffering. They're still drowning in cars. So we got people walking on lots of cars that just won't be sold at all. We have people getting dismissed at a dealership for being too young. We got people breaking down the numbers and people telling you what not to do when it comes to dealing with these very shady dealerships. Let's get into it right now.
So Jeep, Dodge, and Ram just lost 30% of the value of their entire company in just one day. So after they made this announcement, their stock sold off by 30%. Just like that. And if they keep going the way they are right now, they're going to be out of cash and out of business. So right now they need cash, so what have they done to try to get some? Well, they just approved to take on $6 billion more of debt, so they have that available liquidity. They've also decided to scrap a lot of their EV plans, and this includes the trucks. Now, I think this is actually a good move because all of these EV projects are what got them into a majority of the issues that they're dealing with right now anyway. So now the company is in emergency mode. So we have a plan now. What are we going to do? Well, the first thing that they've decided that they're going to do is cut dividend payments for 2026. They need to because they can't have this cash coming out. They don't have a lot of cash coming in and they need to preserve all the liquidity that they can right now. The easy way to do it is not give money back to their shareholders. And in another desperation move, they're actually raising cash by selling 49% of a joint battery venture that they're in. And this is the thing that you'll see in a lot of big companies when they are in desperation mode. When they do need to raise a lot of cash, they'll start selling off some of their assets. And this is one of the things that we can see where we know, okay, this is a panic mode situation when we start selling off pieces of our business. And they're going to push their focus back to gas and hybrid models, which we're seeing a lot of other manufacturers do a similar thing. We're seeing Ford do that. We're seeing GM do that. And Toyota, Honda, a lot of these other manufacturers are focusing on the things that are actually making them money and not the things that are hemorrhaging money. And in the case of Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, no different, right? Hemorrhage all this money. So now here's a good idea. Let's actually focus on the things that are making us money, right? That should be good. All right, so what happened? They just announced that they're going to be taking a $26.5 billion write-down on failed EV projects throughout the company. And here's the thing, let me paint this picture for you. Their whole company's worth, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Stellantis, as a whole company, is only worth today $21.2 billion. So they lost on these EVs $5 billion more than what their entire company is actually worth.
All right, it's time to talk about what's happening at the top because this is where it all starts. Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Jeep sucks. But anyway, their parent company, Stellantis, just lost 30% of their entire stock value in one day. One day. They made a terrible mistake. They took a $26.5 billion write-down on those failed EV projects because most people do not want EVs right now. But their entire company, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, all of it combined is only worth $21.2 billion today. That is terrible. They lost more money on bad bets than their whole company is even worth right now. So what are they going to do about it? Obviously, they're in some kind of emergency mode, taking on $6 billion in new debt just to stay liquid, cutting dividend payments so cash stops going out. And now they're selling off 49% of a battery venture, meaning they just broken off pieces of a business just to keep the lights on. This is a yard sale. In the failed EV venture, everyone's going back to gas. Ford, GM is going back to gas. Now, Honda and Toyota never really left. I think they saw the writing on the wall probably earlier than everyone else. While all this is happening at the top, your local Jeep dealer is still out there acting like it's a seller's market. The foundation is cracking and we're just getting started.
You know what I'm tired of? Car dealerships. Car dealerships are the biggest scammers. Those sales agents, they're scammers. Please, before you go buy a car, try to get pre-approved with your bank. If you bank with a credit union, even better. Get pre-approved before you go to the car dealership. And let's just say you're not able to get pre-approved. Then the dealership, when you get there, they're going to be like, okay, let me see who's going to approve you. Let me see who I can get you financed with. Keep in mind, they're about to run your credit. They're about to check with anywhere from 8 to 20 lenders, meaning each lender is an inquiry. You feel me? So be specific. If you're buying from Nissan, Be like, hey, I want you to run my credit specifically with your financing, or that's it. Do not let these people keep running and checking your credit. It's only going to kill your credit profile. And final thing, keep in mind, you are in control when you're buying a car. Bargain, negotiate. You feel me? If these people don't want to give you the car you want, or the amount that you want, the interest rate that you want, deuces, find somebody else. Don't let these people tell you, oh, you got to get this package, meaning extended warranty or gap or whatever the case may be. A lot of the dealership will tell you everything that you need or everything that you have to get. Half those things you don't have to get. So if you don't like your price, fight that. Fight that shit. Let them know you're not paying for it. They want your money. So trust me, they're going to do what they have to do to get this up.
So she's definitely breaking down exactly what everyone should do when they go to dealerships, that understand that you are in control, not them. And also, you should already know what you can afford before you even get into the spot, before they jump in with all types of numbers to try to get you confused and exhaust you to a point where you just sign on a dotted line. I definitely agree that you should have something pre-approved. At least in my experience, the next time I purchase a new car, I'm going to go straight with a broker, let them do all of the negotiating work. I don't have the time to spend 4, 5, 6 hours going back and forth at a dealership. I just don't. But I definitely want to make sure that I'm getting the best deal possible. And she is 100% right. A lot of people who are buying cars get stuck in bad deals because either you didn't understand what was going on, or you were getting impatient. You just wanted a car and you thought, I'll deal with the other numbers later on. You don't want so many inquiries getting hit on your credit report, especially if you have other things you want to purchase. Let's say, for instance, you want to actually get a home. Well, now you have so many inquiries because of the car situation that will make your house purchases probably be more difficult. And we all know that a lot of those inquiries take about 2 years to come off of your credit report. So definitely the power of the car buying experience should always be with the customer and not with the dealership trying to find ways to pad their pockets with tons of your money.
It's hurting when you have dealerships like Toyota still selling 2025s and 2026. This dealership actually has 6 of them right now sitting on the lot for the Tacomas that are brand new 2025s. And look at that, 55 grand for a Tacoma. Yeah, this one looks like it's a TRD. Their top of the line now, like the Trailhawk, whatever it's called, something like that, is $65,000. And the funniest thing, these things are not holding their value at all. I just saw one with a $67,000 MSRP, used with 30,000 miles, 2 years old, had already dropped $17,000 in value. That's unheard of on a Tacoma, to lose $20,000 in just 2 years. Because even a base model like the SR5, these things, I bet this one's about 45 grand, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, $43,000, as you can see right there, for an SR5. Cloth seats. It's just a bare truck. It's nothing crazy to it.
He is walking around Toyota, for all places, in 2026, and they still have 2025 Tacomas sitting there, 6 of them just sitting there. And that is a big surprise, because when it comes to Toyota Tacoma, right, those pickup trucks, they are probably the most bulletproof trucks on the used market for years. You could not lose money on these type of vehicles. The dealers know it, the buyers knew it, everyone knew it. And now someone brought a 2023 model with 30,000 miles and paid $67,000, and it was already worth $50K. They lost $17,000 in 2 years on a Tacoma. This is not a Jeep or a Dodge. That's Toyota, the reliable one, the safe bet, even for me with my 4Runner. And they can't even hold value right now. The market is telling all of us something. These trucks are overpriced. That's why the lots are full. And the dealerships are acting like this is just a seller's market when it's not.
That's just not reality. And the customer service from something like that is just not even coming close to the customer service that my staff will offer you. If you're the people in my comments, I'm making 20 to 30 grand on a brand new F-150. Not factual. Like I said in my other video, on average, I'm making $2,000 to $3,000 on a vehicle sale. And that is best case scenario. So $2,000 to $3,000 might sound like a lot, but if you're buying a car every 3 to 5 years, that's not a lot of money. And that will include showing you all the vehicles, doing the 3 or 4 test drives, having our staff available for you. That's every call, every text message on a Sunday. I think that that's worth the $2,000 that I might make selling you a vehicle. I also want to say, and for all of you that think that cutting out the dealer and going right from the manufacturer would be easier, I'm just going to tell you that no one is going to answer your call at Ford or Chevy or Toyota on a Sunday when you need that. that. That's just not reality. You're also not going to save money buying directly from the manufacturer because MSRP for me is still MSRP for them. You also think that if you go to Tesla and you want to negotiate on your trade-in that's worth $500 and you're like, no, I know what I got, it's $2,000, that anyone there is going to negotiate with you. They're not. That's just not reality.
Now she's saying that nobody at Chevy or Toyota is going to answer your call on Sunday, and you're not going to save any money going straight to the manufacturer because MSRP is MSRP, whether you buy from them or from the dealer. She's not completely wrong. The base price is the base price, but here's what she's leaving out. The dealer is the one adding to the MSRP, the market adjustments, the protection packages, the dock fees. None of that exists when you go direct. I know this because my wife picked up a Tesla. It was probably the easiest process to buy from a dealership. Why? Because you're getting straight from the dealer. There wasn't any special hidden packages that we had to go through. You went on the website, you picked what you wanted, and you paid what it was cost. The only thing you had to deal with is dealing with the lender. Other than that, it was the easiest thing compared to me getting that damn 4Runner. So yes, the sticker might be the same, but the dealer is the one stacking thousands of dollars on top of it before you even get to sit down. So that Sunday availability argument, I hear you. I mean, I understand the customer service should be great. It should be paired with accountability. The dealership has some legitimate functions. I won't deny that, but you can't use the legitimate ones to cover for the massive amount of scammer dealers out there taking everyone's money. Unfortunately, there's more scammer dealers than there are legit ones.
Okay, if a car salesperson tells this to you, it's one of the lamest excuses that they can give you on why they can't negotiate for a car. So you found a car, you like it, you call the dealership and they say, sorry, we can't negotiate on this one. We just got the car in today, or we're getting the car in next week. They're lying to you, they can negotiate on it, and I'm going to tell you why. So the reason this is a lame excuse is because dealerships will post a car for sale weeks or even sometimes even more than a month before the car actually ends up on their dealership floor. Take Toyota, for example. Once Toyota, the corporate Toyota, tells a dealership in Missouri, for example, that they're going to be getting a specific Toyota Corolla, the dealership in Missouri is going to immediately post that Toyota Corolla for sale online so that they can start advertising that car for sale. People are going to start calling and people are going to start showing interest on this car. They don't have to actually physically have the car on the lot in order to list it for sale. So if a car's been listed for 2 weeks and you're calling about this car, and by the way, if you use the website visor.vin, you can tell how long a car has been listed. Very helpful tool. If you're looking at a car that's been listed for 2 weeks, or maybe the dealership just received the car on the lot yesterday, it doesn't matter, and they're telling you that we can't negotiate on this car, we haven't had it long enough, it's a lie. You absolutely can negotiate on this car using data, and that data that you're going to be looking for is for other cars that are the exact same, how long on average do they take to sell? If a car, this Toyota Corolla, for example, normally takes 90 days to sell or more, then that dealership's going to be pretty motivated to sell this car. Especially if you're a serious buyer and they've only had it for a day, or they're not getting the car for another week, you can put a deposit down on that car, put your name on that car. So they really shouldn't sell the car to anybody else. They still could, but that's a different video there. And don't let a salesperson discourage you. If you want to negotiate, go for it.
So this guy is dropping some serious game, and I do respect it. His main point is, again, you really can't believe what a lot of these dealers are saying, especially when they say they can't negotiate. I think once you hear that, you need to leave. When they say we can't negotiate, we just got the car, definitely a lie, period. And he explained that dealers post cars online weeks before they even arrive on the lot. So the car being new to the lot is completely irrelevant to whether you can negotiate. And we have the tools, we have things online that you can check how long a listing has been up. So when you see a car that's been sitting there for 90 days, and this one just landed, they want to sell that car. You have the leverage, so use it.
I have been waiting for this comment. We only hope that dealerships go away. No, you don't. You think you do, but you don't. It'll only be worse for you. You think that anybody that sells manufacturer to consumer negotiates? Forget about telling me that you know what your trade's worth. Good luck. All you people that hope the dealerships that go away, all you do is come in and negotiate. Every single time without fail. Every single time. You think Tesla negotiates MSRP? No. You think Lucid Motors negotiates on your trade? No. Good luck. Good luck. If that ever happened.
So she's back. She's really trying to defend her trade, right? She sells cars and she doesn't like the fact that people criticize dealerships, even though she should understand that how terrible the many people in her industry have behaved and how they took advantage of people. But she's only there to only defend herself, which it shows the level of accountability that a lot of these people have when it comes to selling cars and ripping people off. But let's go into what she said. So you can see there's a lot of confidence there, and it's really the audacity. I mean, her argument is that if dealerships disappear, you lose the ability to negotiate, and manufacturers like Tesla don't negotiate at all on the price or your trade-in. But like I said about Tesla, the price is the price, and usually there's no problems with that if you want it or you don't. So let's talk about the problem with her logic. The reason people in the comments hoping that dealerships go away is because everything that we've watched so far in this video and many other videos, the profiling, the packages that cost thousands of dollars that aren't really there, the fees stacked on top of fees. You don't get to run a system that extracts money from people at every single touch point and then you say you need us. Maybe people are willing to give up negotiation just not to be played. That's not ignorance. That's a response to years of being treated exactly the way we documented today.
Little story time about the new car I'm hopefully about to get. So the other day, I went to the BMW dealership here in Houston. I'm not going to drop any names or disclose which BMW location this was. I go to this BMW dealership, and I get it. I'm a young guy. I'm 22. And I've never really had an issue like this because when I do go to high-end stores, usually the people like notice my Rolex immediately, and I, obviously get treated properly. Don't let anyone lie to you. Having a nice watch does give you those benefits. This day in specific, it was cold as fuck here in Houston the past couple days. I had a big jacket on, you couldn't really see the watch. I'd just gotten a haircut, shaved my face too, so there really wasn't much facial hair. I looked really young. I go up to the front desk and I'm like, hey, can I please speak to someone? Immediately, right off the bat, they start treating me like I'm lost. Just the most insane questions like, who are you? What are you looking for? Do you have an input? This, that, and the third. And me, that comes from like a sort of sales mindset, in real estate and wholesaling when I'm talking to sellers all the time. When someone's clearly interested in your product, you don't really question them too much. You move them forward to hopefully try to make the sale. And mind you, this is just like the front desk lady. This isn't even like the sales rep. Like, can I please just talk to someone? Okay, whatever. That was like a little whole hassle. Finally, she, gets me in touch with one of the sales representatives on the floor. Dude was cool. We were talking, but just from conversation, I knew he wasn't taking me serious at all. Obviously asked him if I can check out the X6M and the M3 competition. Right off the bat, bro's like, I don't know what you're coming from, but like, you should be expecting to drop around like $2,000 to $3,000 a month. It completely just shifted the whole dynamic of like me just, going to try to check out a possible new car I'm looking to get, to just how much my monthly payments are going to be and how much I should be making and this, that, and the third to, be able to afford one of these. I really straight up told him off the bat, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to be committed to anything today. I really just want to check out some of these cars. I do have a few trucks in mind that I want to go look at as well. I already sort of thought I set him, that mindset of like, I'm not committing to anything. I just want to check out some of these cars and see, which one he thinks would probably be best for a young person like me. The whole time it was just funny to me because I was like, this guy has no clue I'm making like 6 figures a month. And he just kept trying to press about my like income and how much money I made, this, that, and the third. And I just kept like brushing it off and I'm like, dude, can we please just check out some of these cars first? I don't know. To me, it just rubbed me off the wrong way. So I don't think I'm going to be going the BMW route.
It shouldn't matter if you have a nice watch or not. You should be able to go to a business and someone be happy to see you and try to sell you on whatever they're trying to sell. And it makes sense that you don't need to commit to check out cars. I mean, most of us, we just want to look. I mean, that's a very normal thing to say. That's what people do. But it's interesting that this guy was worrying about how wealthy he looked instead of just being kind of focused on the sale. But I guess if you don't look rich enough, they won't take you seriously. I mean, I think the biggest mistake I think this guy done, and I saw the first comment on this video, was going into a BMW dealership to begin with. But I know a lot of people like BMWs. I don't want to throw too much shade. I know a lot of people like BMWs, but it just seems like it was like a discrimination situation. They see someone and they look too young and they may not have the money. They're like, I don't want to be bothered with you.
If I could give the young people that watch this video today one piece of advice, or even anybody that's 20 to 40 years old, or any age for that matter, stop going out and buying new cars. Don't buy a new car and don't buy a new truck. See, I've owned probably 20 vehicles in my lifetime. I've done the buy it, drive it for a year, trade it in, lose $4,000 or $5,000, take that money, tack it onto the next vehicle, pay too much in interest. And if you look around your job or your town, you'll see everyone driving vehicles between $25,000 and $60,000, $80,000 for some of the trucks and SUVs. And I gotta say, it's very dumb. It's stupid. Everyone thinks they have to have a new ride, but the minute you drive that off that lot, within a month and it gets dirty and you lose that new car smell, it just becomes another used car. I drive an 11-year-old RAV4, 170,000 miles, runs perfectly fine. And I still owe a little bit of money on it because I had financed it with higher miles. But I said to myself, after I looked at the payments on like a new SUV or a new truck, and there is no way in hell I'm going to pay $800, $900, or $1,000 a month for a SUV or a truck. First of all, you can't afford it. Second of all, it's stupid. Third of all, once you buy it, you're going to lose probably 40% once you drive it off the lot. So if you're a young kid, go on Craigslist or look on Facebook Marketplace. And I know that now with vehicles, you get the check engine lights, and they can be a real pain in the ass. But go buy yourself like a, okay, we'll bump it up a little bit, $2,000 to $3,000 to a $5,000 to $6,000 vehicle. Now my vehicle's 11 years old, 170,000 miles, runs like a top. So you could go out and buy a vehicle like mine, Toyota or Honda or whatever you want, but just make sure you check into it first. You don't buy something that's a piece of crap. But you probably could spend $5,000 to $6,000 on a decent vehicle that'll last you for years, and save up the money and pay cash for it, because you don't want to get stuck in those payments. I've been making payments for like 30 years on vehicles. It's not fun. It's not smart. Save your money for a rainy day.
And that is not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show.
We've all seen this talk before, especially when people, you don't need to be a financial expert or some big financial YouTuber. This is a regular person who own a lot of cars and learned the hard way. You buy a car, you drive it for a year or so, then you trade it in, then you lose $4,000 to $5,000. Then you're rolling that negative equity into the next loan. You're paying too much interest, and you repeat that for 30 years. This is the cycle that half of the country is stuck in right now. And he's right. The minute that car leaves the lot, it's a used car. The new car smell is gone in a month. You're just paying a premium for 30 days of that smell. Now, I would say this. Now, his advice, hey, take $5,000, $6,000, go on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace and get a car. It's definitely harder in 2026 than he makes it sound. And be extremely careful on Facebook Marketplace. I've been seeing a lot of true crime stories, but there are quality used vehicles out there. So the advice is right. Just the execution is harder than it looks.
And that is not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you exactly how grimy some car dealers can be. So I had this car listed for sale. A car I bought from an auction, had an airbag light on that was not disclosed to us, that I checked into 2 different mechanics, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. So I sent that car to the auction, had an airbag light disclosed on it because, again, it was something that we couldn't fix. I sold the car and then got a phone call that said, hey, your vehicle went to arbitration. Arbitration means that there's something that's super expensive to fix on it. So I may know how to fix it now, but look at this. So this is the disclosure at a dealership right now. So you get, for only $1,800, you get nitrogen in the tires, you get door edge guards, and you get a theft benefit and a free oil change. Only $1,800. Here's the worst part. Do you see any edge guards on this vehicle? It has the same chips in it from when we had it. It has the exact same Michelin tires from when we had it. Unless you're telling me that they put on, I think it cost $10, $15 for each door to put edge guards on, and they drained and filled the tires, they are essentially charging you $1,800 for nothing.
This is the problem. The car ends up at a dealership. The dealership charges the next buyer $1,800 for a protection package. And then you look at the car, it's the same issues, the same chips in the paint, the same Michelin tires. There is no door edge guards, but they charge $1,800 for air and a piece of paper. This is the issue. This is the standard when it comes to dealerships. These packages have ridiculous names. They call it market protection or dealer installed options or appearance packages. They come pre-printed on the form before you even sit down. They act like it's non-negotiable. They're lying. And the people who are defending these dealerships want to talk about overhead. I mean, come on. This is the issue. This is why people do not want to deal with dealerships anymore.
Just to reiterate for anybody who is of the mindset that the dealerships are an unnecessary function, when the car shows up in the United States or whatever country you're buying it from, the dealerships pay that cost to then ship it and handle it and get it to the location to be sold to you, right? We also pay for the overhead to keep it on the lot. We pay a dealer fee because it's kind of like rent, right? We're paying for the space where we house your vehicle up until the point where we sell it. We also have to activate and like turn on certain safety mechanisms and get the car into its regular driving mode. When we get it in, it comes in what we call PDI mode, meaning there's a lot of chips and things that haven't been activated and turned on. We also, once you do buy the car, we store your paperwork for 5 years for tax purposes, which you'd be surprised how often people are in need of that documentation. We also do the licensing through you for the state, so we title the car in your name. These are all functions that are either going to become your burden and your cost, or Another alternative is that now the manufacturer has to ingest and add these costs to their overhead, which is just going to increase your burden and what they ask you for, keeping the margin the same or potentially even increasing it because they're used to squeezing the dealerships for these costs, right? And not really worried about their profit margins. So they may be worried about theirs more and having to serve these critical roles, and it could even be that your costs increase. I just wanted to put that out because I feel like it's relevant to consider when claiming the dealerships are an unnecessary function. And that's not to mention customer service after the sale and all the things that come with it that you would just be on your own for.
So we have another dealer explaining the other side of the argument. He's saying that dealers handle everything, right? The licensing and the titling and the paperwork storage. And he's saying if, all the dealers will disappear, all that becomes your problem or the manufacturer's problem, and then the cost will go up. And I'm not going to sit here and say none of that is true. Some of it is legitimate, but here's my question. If all of these services are so valuable, why are we seeing market adjustments for $10,000 over MSRP on in-demand vehicles? Why are people being profiled at the door before they even can ask a question? You don't get to charge for a service and then also charge for a scam at the same time and then call it overhead. The car buying system in terms of the dealerships, they have legitimate functions, but they're wrapped around illegitimate functions. And they use the legitimate ones as cover every time someone calls them out. That's the problem. But as we see throughout these videos and tons of more, I'm sure you see it on YouTube, you see it on TikTok, the car industry is not designed to serve you. It's just designed to get as much money out of you as possible at the door, at the desk, in the finance office, and obviously on your way out. This is how they do things. Let me know what you guys think about these stories in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.